Hi, today we're going to be talking about Glass. This is the third movie in a trilogy by M. Night Shyamalan. It starts with 19 years ago with the movie Unbreakable, starring Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis, where Samuel L. Jackson, and spoilers for the movie Unbreakable, Samuel L. Jackson turns out to be the bad guy, and he was actually trying to find people with enhanced abilities, and that's how he ended up finding Bruce Willis's character, by blowing up the train, or not blowing up, but causing a derail of the train that Bruce Willis was on, killing everybody but him. And that's how Unbreakable starts, and you find out that his character is super strong and invulnerable, except when water's involved. And then you have Split, with James McAvoy's character playing the Horde, which are all the multiple characters, or multiple personalities that James McAvoy's character has in the movie. And Anya Taylor-Joy, I think her name is, was the girl that escaped at the end because she had already suffered. And James McAvoy's Horde was creating this beast character whose job was to make people suffer. But he had determined that she had suffered enough and let her go at the end. The other thing that happened at the end of Split was David Dunn's character showed up, which was a surprise because people didn't know that these two movies were related, but they are. And David Dunn's character is looking for the Horde. So this movie, Glass, starts with David Dunn's character, or David Dunn, looking for the Horde, and with the help of his son, who's played by the same actor who played him in Unbreakable. Which is nice because they show some flashbacks, and you can see like the actual people from 19 years ago. So it's nice to see, and you do need those flashbacks to get caught up in a movie that was 19 years old. So he's kind of, the son is the man in the chair, where he like communicates with David Dunn and tells him where to go, gives him information he needs to help him find what he's looking for. Meanwhile, his main idea is to walk around certain areas and touch people, because as you saw in Unbreakable, if somebody who is doing something bad touches him, he can kind of see what they're doing, what they've done, and follow them. So that's how the movie starts, is with David Dunn's character tracking down the Horde, rescuing some people, and getting in a fight. And that leads them to getting caught and put in the asylum, which is where the rest of the movie takes place. Is this asylum where Sarah Paulson's character is trying to convince them that their abilities aren't real, they're just like luck and trauma, and like Bruce Willis's character is just really strong, James McAvoy's Beast is just another personality, and Mr. Glass is just a smart guy. So that's how they kind of try and explain away the powers that they're showing, or the abilities that they're showing. So in the beginning of the movie, there's good action between the Horde and David Dunn. In the middle, there's a lot of drag going on. It depends on how much you're invested in these characters. If you haven't seen Unbreakable, then you're probably not going to be very invested. But Unbreakable and Split are really good movies. So if you've watched those, you like those characters, then this is a good ending to that trilogy. If you don't, though, you probably won't like this. And I wouldn't recommend going in this without seeing Unbreakable, because I don't think you'll get as much out of it as you should. Especially because, like I said, they're revisiting old characters, which kind of you don't really care about if you haven't seen Unbreakable. Bruce Willis his character is kind of minimal in this. Like, he does have a big role, but there are times when he kind of just disappears from the movie, and it's mostly about Mr. Glass, which, I mean, the name of the movie is Glass, so it makes sense that he's a popular character in it, and he does have it is still him manipulating things. Like, he is still the super smart person from Unbreakable that is manipulating things and trying to establish that there are people with abilities in the world. And you do have like Anya Taylor-Joy's character returning from Split. The actress that played Samuel L. Jackson's character's mom from Unbreakable returns too. And even M. Night Shyamalan returns, playing the same role that he did in Unbreakable. So it's good they keep that world together. M. Night Shyamalan does a good job of creating a world where these abilities might actually exist. And, you know, even the parts where Sarah Paulson is trying to convince them that they don't exist and that they're just luck are interesting. But for one thing, it makes her character kind of look dumb. That's a negative part of it, because we already know that they have abilities. So when she's constantly saying they don't, it lessens the importance of her character, because she seems dumb when she's saying things that we already know aren't true. And also, like, there's some directing choices that were a little odd, like the camera angle shifts that he does. I think he's doing it because of the change in personalities with James McAvoy, but it's kind of jarring in a lot of places. M. Night Shyamalan, there's not a lot of clunky and jarring dialogue, like where there were some moments in some of his movies, especially like in The Village and Lady in the Water, where the dialogue was very cringy, even like After Earth too, depending on who wrote the dialogue. But it's not the best, but it's also not terrible as far as the writing goes. It's just average. There are some moments where they really get caught up in the whole comic book comparisons, and in that case they do it a little too much, and it can be distracting in that way. And like I said, the directing is okay. Like, there's some moments that you would like to see some action, but you don't. There's action in the beginning, there's action in the end, in the middle there's some drag, and what little action there is, they show it like in the background or off screen, and so you kind of get disappointed in that way. But overall, it's a good movie. Not a lot of action, like I said, but there is some tension building. There is some, you know, some planning by Mr. Glass, watching him be kind of like the puppet master is interesting. Sarah Paulson's character, not so much like what she's saying, but trying to figure out what her plan is and what her end game is interesting. And revisiting characters that you've liked, if you really liked Unbreakable or Split, is good. So overall, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's entertaining. It's better than the critic reviews. I'm not sure why they're that bad, but it is an entertaining movie. If you like the first two, you'll like this. Probably not as much, but it is good. And it is entertaining, and it's a well-made movie, and it's an okay end to a trilogy. Some people might have issues with the end, but it does wrap things up. So overall, like I said, 7 out of 10. And that's for Glass, the latest M. Night Shyamalan movie. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.